Welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and in this episode, we're taking a look at the brand new Diamond Select Star Wars figure of Chewbacca. Diamond Select has been doing such a great job with their Star Wars figures. They've been really all excellent so far. None of them have been disappointments really in any way whatsoever. They just keep getting better, and now we finally got really our kind of first main character, if you will, in the series, and that's Chewbacca. So I'm really stoked for this first look at this figure here, but that's not all we're going to be doing today, because this figure is not alone. In fact, today, what we're going to be doing is a side-by-side comparison of a Star Wars Black Series Chewbacca next to the Diamond Select Chewbaccas. This over here, I think, is the most recent Chewbacca figure that came out, and this will be their 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back line. So we are going to keep that in mind here, that this one's going to look a little bit different than this one just based on the movie appearance. But I think this is still a great opportunity to have these two things side by side and kind of take a look at how the differences are between the Star Wars Black Series and what Diamond Select is doing. And off the bat, that first noticeable thing would be the packaging here. And right now, all the Star Wars Black Series figures, I believe, are coming in this type of retro packaging, even if they're not necessarily a retro figure, but they're all coming in this kind of blister card pack. Whereas Diamond Select, they're doing what Diamond Select does, and for the most part now, that's basically for any figures that aren't Marvel Select figures, is to package them in this boxy style here. And what you get with that box is a really large window on the front so you can see everything head on, as well as two smaller windows on the left and the right side. And unlike other Diamond Select toys and even their statues, there is no sunroof on these figures. One of my favorite parts about the packaging is actually the back of the box though, because again, it's pretty simple looking. There's not really much in terms of color and design with these pieces. They're very straightforward. But what I like is all the really cool design elements they have here, which is basically showing you the accessories and the figure, but all using the language of the Star Wars universe. When you compare it to the Star Wars Black Series, in this case you're just getting a look at some of the other figures that are in this wave so far, as well as just like a one-sentence thing. So as far as the back of any of these boxes go, neither one is really super interesting, although I do kind of like the Diamond one a little bit more, just because I like these diagrams. As far as the front of the packaging goes, though, I think, if we were going to do a side-by-side comparison, I definitely like these more. There's no way around it. You really can't beat a retro design, but it's not to say this is a bad box either, and in fact, it really gives you just as much information. The difference is really just the design aesthetic around it. But as you may know if you're a regular viewer here, I'm not a mint on card collector, so these two figures aren't going to be hanging out in their carbonite chambers for much longer. So let's go ahead and take these out of the box and get a better look at them from all angles. So one thing I wanted to show everybody before I actually started talking about the figure itself is that this is something that Diamond does with their Star Wars figures in particular that really no one else does, and it's actually a clamshell packaging here. It's kind of super securing the figure in there. I don't know, let's see, I'll turn it around. Looks like there is no twisty ties in this, which is awesome, but I really just appreciate this because it's kind of like an extra level of protection that you don't get with Star Wars Black figures. The Star Wars Black figure just had basically the Chewie on blister. I popped him out and he was done. So I'm going to go ahead and take this Chewie out of the box and then let's start talking about him loose. Alright, and here is our Diamond Select Chewbacca now completely out of the packaging. Let's get a nice good look at him because this is a really good looking figure. I want to kind of do him solo. Good pun there. Before we take a look at the Star Wars Black Chewbacca. But yeah, man, look at this figure. This has got some really amazing detail on it. I mean, sculpting is great. Paint job is great. This is an outstanding piece just off the bat. The attention to detail is just off the hook. Kind of blown away, a little bit speechless right now, which is going to make this a little difficult to make a video, but yeah, let's just go ahead and start first with the likeness. Does this look like Chewbacca? Absolutely 10 out of 10, whether it's the Peter Mayhew Chewbacca or the current actor who's portraying Chewbacca nowadays. Really no complaints. This is a perfect spot-on Chewie from every angle, no matter how you turn it, no matter how you look at it. This is Chewbacca. This is phenomenal work. I love the paint detail on him as well. Just really great figure. No complaints here at all. And speaking of paint detail, there's some really nice paint detail all across this figure. There's a lot of nice highlighting in his fur. I feel like it's a lot more realistic maybe than the black figure here. And yeah, that's kind of just our quick solo look. I keep saying that. That's going to come up a lot in this video. Let's bring in the Black Series Chewbacca. And you'll notice, of course, the first difference between them is the height. And that is because Diamond Select figures are an inch taller in scale, but oddly enough, these two Chewies, there's not a big height difference between them, so that's kind of fun. But what is a pretty big difference between them is, again, that paint detail, and I'm going to actually start with the heads. Looking at this perspective, you actually can see a little bit more of the height difference. It is noticeable enough, but Chewie's such a big character, it wouldn't make a difference. He'd fit in either way, no matter who you used him with. But yeah, looking at these two heads now, side by side, you can see the Empire Strikes Back one is, I think, more accurate to Empire Strikes Back. I'm pretty sure now that this Diamond Select Chewie is meant to be the more modern version of Chewie, or at least the modern actor playing Chewie. Still, faces look really good on both of them. It's hard to say which one's better. I kind of think the paint application, though, is stronger on Diamond Select, which is kind of surprising to me. You know, I've actually complained a lot about Diamond in the past, but I've said the past 3 years have been like a renaissance for them with their painting, and they've gotten so much better at doing finer details, and this is a really great comparison to make because the details on the Diamond figure on the left look so much sharper than the Chewie on the right from Hasbro. I think I probably said Mattel a bunch of times in this video talking about this Chewie, but it is Hasbro. My bad, folks. Even the paint detail on the body is very different. You can see there's like weathering in this Chewie, whereas there's none in here. It's basically a two-tone paint job on the Black Series, and at least 3 to 4 tones and the Diamond Select Chewie, which it makes a big difference. And the same thing kind of goes with the accessories too. I mean, both these Chewies have their pouches as we zoom out a little bit. They both have their pouches, and they both have some good details on them. Let's see who's actually is better. I think they're actually pretty comparable. Well, actually, no, I might give the edge on the bag to the Black Series Chewie. He's got some detail with like metal clasps that the Diamond Select Chewbacca does not have, so that's interesting. I want to show you guys their feet too. Both feet are really great. Yeah, Chewbacca feet are just crazy. Look at those things. Those are feet. Articulation-wise, it looks like they are pretty comparable with the exception of one pretty notable difference. And that is this Chewbacca from the Black Series has a moving upper body, has a buck, you can see over here. This Chewie does not. It's one solid piece. Let's see if the waist turns. I don't think the waist is going to turn on either of them, but let's just, yeah. So you're not going to get a turning waist, but you do get the kind of chest articulation from the Black Series that you're not getting in our Diamond Select version of Chewie. That's a little disappointing. And as far as little details go, like let's say hands, for example, they both have the same trigger finger on their right hand. It's the left hand that is slightly different, and I actually like the hand a little bit better on the Diamond version also. I like the wider hand. I think it's going to be better to hold stuff with. Overall, though, looking really good from the front. I think it looks pretty good from the side, from the back, too. Like, yeah, you guys can see, again, the paint detail difference. It's a lot nicer. I like the toning a lot better with this Diamond Select version, but it's not to say that this Mattel one isn't bad either. I just think kind of digging the details a little bit more in the color choices they made, a little bit more in the Diamond Select version. So articulation, like we said, we already showed you guys, but yeah, the head can move on both figures. The elbows are ball jointed on both figures. Same thing with the wrists. Same thing with the knees. Same thing with the feet. I think the one thing, of course, you'll have to know if you get a Diamond Select figure is that their joints are always stiff out the box. So if you get them, I recommend that you heat the joints before you do any posing with them. And I'd probably say do the same with the Black Series just to play it safe. I think the biggest department where they actually differ would be the accessories. So both of them have the same pouch that you're seeing right now. The Black Series Chewie from Empire Strikes Back has this bowcaster, which looks really nice. It's a good-looking bowcaster. But then I pull out the bowcaster from Diamond Select, and it's like a world of difference. And not just the size, but look at the paint detail. Again, this has like weathering on it. The details are, I feel like, a little bit stronger. Let's make it the same angle. Yeah, no, the details are way more accurate between these two guns here on the Diamond Select one. Just night and day difference, honestly, how much better I think the Diamond Select one looks. But that's the funny thing here is that that's all that the Black Series Chewie has. Our Diamond Select Chewie comes with a whole lot more because you guys, you see this pouch he already has around him. He also comes with this one here, and that's what makes this interesting because this one, I believe, is from his time in the Solo film. And not only that, so we have a second one of these you guys can swap out because I'm pretty sure the head's going to pop off, make it easy to do. Although I don't even think you need to pop the head off to do it. This looks like it'll probably come off on its own fairly easily. You also get this gun here. This is like his shotgun sort of looking weapon that he has also in Solo. Diamond, in fact, made a statue using this gun here, which we reviewed on this channel some time ago. So you're getting 2 weapons, 2 sacks. That's pretty good value right there. That's looking pretty great. So I'm going to get this Chewie out of the way because I want to bring in just a few other of the figures that Diamond has done so far in this lineup just to kind of compare them. And here, starting first, we'll put the Stormtrooper down. See if we can get him to stand up. There we go. That's how he looks compared to a Stormtrooper. Big height difference there, but looks pretty good. I like this comparison here. And since it was alluded to in that Solo movie, but nothing came of it, well, let's bring in Darth Maul next to Chewie just to see how he would look. And yeah, again, that was another real standout figure that they did. Darth Maul looking good too, but man, this Chewbacca is very impressive. So let's do a quick test here. Let's see if we can get any of his weapons in his hand, because that's, I think, a pretty important thing to do. And it looks like it's not even really an issue here. It looks like the shotgun's going right on in. Yeah. I don't know the proper name for what this shotgun actually is, if it even is a shotgun. It's a shotgun-looking weapon. But, I mean, yeah, that's first goes to his hand, just like that. This thing, I will say that the satchel that Chewie has is a little loose on him, but not bad. I mean, so that's how that looks. I'm pretty confident the bowcaster should get on him pretty easily, too. Although the bowcaster is wider, so it might take a little bit more finagling. Let's see how that works. There we go. I got the bowcaster in his hand too, and that's looking mighty fine. Mind you, I didn't get the trigger finger correct, but I think you can easily do that. Like, this hand is very flexible, so it's really easy to get weapons in his hands. But yeah, everything is fitting in his hand real nicely there. And just to be complete, let's see how easy it is to actually swap on and off this sack here. Let's see, it should go on like this, right? And yeah, you don't even need to take off the head. Nope, you don't need to take off the head at all. It's that easy to swap out his chest harness there. Look at that. That looks really good. And that's the solo version, so you'd want to have this weapon here with this one. And man, easy to do. That's something you don't get with the other Chewie figure. You don't get that. This basically is kind of like an ultimate version of Chewie, because you're getting a lot of iconic accessories from 2 different movies. And they're really easy to swap out. I mean, I'm doing this in real time. Look at how easy that is. Now, the one thing you might notice I have been having a little trouble with, and you'll see that he's kind of leaning forward, is the feet. I think they're just because, again, they're straight out of the packaging, so they are a little hard to move, but there isn't really a ton of space with them either with his feet. But, you know, just space them out a little bit and you'll get them standing up just fine. That said, Diamond does sell bases separately. They don't. It looks like there's no base for this Chewbacca, but you can buy Diamond Select bases directly from them. They're really cheap. I recommend getting them if you're going to be buying a lot of Diamond figures. It'll solve all your issues, no problem. But that's our look at the Diamond Select Chewbacca, and it's a great looking figure. Like, man, this thing just knocks it out of the park again. I didn't show you guys the Boba Fett. That was one of the first ones that came out. I think actually it was the first one that came out, because it's green, and green on green doesn't really work with this green screen, but they've all been real knockout figures, and this Chewie is another excellent addition to the lineup. I have nothing bad to say about it. You've got beautiful accessories, way more detail than the Black series. Articulation is basically comparable, except for the one kind of important chest movement, but because of how that Chewie is, by the way, I mean, you're not going to get a ton of articulation out of it. I mean, here he is again. You know, there's so much fur and stuff in the way. It's not really doing much. He's a little bit bigger. That part is cool. You know, I like when Diamond does bigger characters. This is kind of just another perfect Star Wars figure from them, and I'm really impressed that they've done 4 figures so far, and none of them have really had anything at all for me to complain about. Each time, they have exceeded my expectations, and I feel like if you're really not collecting these, you're missing out. Granted, the size is kind of a big difference. This is 1 inch taller. It's a different scale than the Black series, so this does kind of mean you got to almost start over with your collecting. But that's if you're looking at it from that kind of perspective of like posting these things together with that universe or whatever. This is kind of its own thing, and these are meant to be a different kind of collectible altogether. So make of that what you will. I don't mind having 2 Chewies. I don't mind having 2 Stormtroopers or 2 Darth Mauls. I've got like 7 Boba Fetts already anyway, so not a big deal to me. But yeah, overall, this is a really great piece here, this Chewie. And if you want him for yourself, you can pick him up from Disney Store, because he is exclusive to the Disney shop. So I'm going to have a link to him in the description below. Make sure you click that if you want to get him. So that's our Chewie. Nothing bad to say. Only positivity for this Wookiee. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and we will see you guys here next time.